Back now at 8:11 and batten down the hatches because the Straight Talking Talent Scout is back. Simon Cowell returns to the judge's chair tonight for the premiere of his new singing competition show called The X Factor. We met up with him in Los Angeles to talk about what's riding on this new venture.
Both of you, and I don't normally mean this.
He was the face of American Idol for 10 seasons.
The outfit is about as bad as I've seen.
It wasn't a star's performance.
Okay. It's a bit boring.
The future's all yours.
And the brains behind shows like America's Got Talent. Now Simon Cowell is bringing the UK phenomenon, The X Factor, stateside in hopes of another hit. Airing in 127 countries around the world, its success rides on Cowell's ability to spot a star. You've taken off on this venture. How much pressure are you feeling?
Well, a lot. It's literally like going on a roller coaster. You know it's going to be quite rough, but you're going to have a good time. There are so many people, you know this, dying for you to fail.
Right.
You know, they'll be watching.
You feel that? You're aware of that? You know there are people out there who would love to see Simon Cowell take a little step backward?
You will see the most ginormous firework displays in LA if this show bombs.
When's the last time you had an outright failure? I mean, fall flat on your face, humiliating, I'm embarrassed, can't be seen by the public failure.
It was in running my record label. I still feel the feeling in my stomach now.
What was the feeling?
We decided to put another Spice Girls together, and I spent probably £1 million of my company's money on it. And I had a feeling about 2 months before we were launching this, I may have overhyped this a bit.
And when it happened, what did it do to you?
Well, my boss at the time, I knocked on his door, because I thought I was going to be fired, and I said, my ego's out of control, isn't it? And he went, yeah, don't do it again. And that was the biggest learning wake-up call I've ever had.
What is the X Factor, or whatever you want to call it? What's the intangible?
I'm looking for somebody where I see there's a hole in the market.
You answer that as a music industry executive. I was thinking, what's the feeling you're looking to get when that person stands on stage?
I remember, for instance, when Susan Boyle came into audition. Now, I'm not going to say it, and I knew there was a gap in the market for a 43-year-old, you know, spinster, you know, who lived with a cat, because there probably wasn't a gap. I remember looking at the corner of my eyes thinking, oh, God, she's going to sing, and I wasn't in the mood. It all changed at that moment. So as much as you can be record-minded about it, you've also got to be open-minded. And that's part of the reason why we have an audience with us on the road. That audience is what Cowell says separates the X Factor from similar shows. After getting bored with stale hotel room auditions, he asked contestants to try out in front of thousands. This guy came on and he started to sing this song, and suddenly he hit a second gear when the audience were behind him. So I was watching something I've never seen before like that, where everyone, 5,000 people, were feeling what I was feeling, thinking, this is the best feeling in the world.
Would that kid have done as well without that audience, though? Wasn't he a star no matter what?
No. I thought about that afterwards. It was the audience that made him special.
Are you more surprised by the sheer amount of raw talent that is out there, or by the number of people who think they're talented? Which is it?
Depends where we are. I mean, there are days you sit there going, you know, is this some sort of nightmare? I can't wake up. It's literally relentless. And it's very depressing because you kind of feel everything on your shoulders.
Not depressing, Cowell's net worth. It's estimated at over $250 million. And do you allow yourself a certain level of extravagance?
Cars, maybe. I mean, I have some nice cars. You know, I have a couple of houses here. I'm not into jewelry or bling or any of that kind of stuff.
What's the best thing about having money?
Well, you have a bit more, we have a lot more freedom. You know, I don't have a boss as such, so I don't have to do sort of horrible dinners with them. And I've got doors that are open for me at the moment, Matt. When I first came here 10 years ago, when we were trying to sell Idol, and we were thrown out of all these networks. So the fact that we're talking here now, today, 10 years later, and I've had the ability to make shows, that's the best thing about it.
And so the people are sitting out there thinking maybe this will be the time you fail. What's your message?
Well, Personally, I don't think it will, but as I always say, watch the show and make your own mind up.
He set the bar high. He says that if he doesn't get 20 million viewers, which is close to what American Idol gets, that he thinks the show will be a bust. That could be a little bit of bravado and PR, but we'll see what happens.
You know, he's a guy, he tends to make good on his promises. He's been very successful. He seemed to enjoy talking to you. He seems very easy to talk to.
Anyway, coming up.